All right, so we are live. Hello everyone, welcome to the live stream. Today we're going over a follow along workout for full body exercises using dumbbells. And we're going to be doing this workout together. If you have questions, let me know in the chat and we'll do the exercises together as we go. So I'm going to be starting with upper body and then we'll move to lower body next. And all these will need a dumbbell and a little bit of a bench, or you could do this laying on a bed or on the ground as well. So if you have questions, let me know. Today, if I sound a little bit tired or a little bit hard to understand, let me know. I'm dealing with a little bit of dental work that's causing me some jaw pain, so I will do my best. So for our first exercise, we're going to do some warming up of the shoulders. So I'm going to do this on a bench. And we're going to be working the muscles in the chest and the back of the arm. So we're going to start with a light dumbbell. I like to take 20 pounds, which is half of what I usually do with this exercise, 40 pounds. So you're gonna sit down on the bench, kick your knees up, lay to the back, hands are right over the top of the shoulders. This is working primarily the chest and secondarily the tricep, which is the muscle in the back of your arm. So from here, you're going to bring the inside of the dumbbell to your chest and then push back up. Now you don't wanna bounce out of the bottom. You wanna go down and control and then back up. And that's gonna help lower the risk of causing a sort of muscle tearing. We're going to do about 10 to 15 of these to warm up the muscle, get some blood flowing into the joint to reduce the risk of injury. This can also help you get your heart rate going, get some blood flow into the muscle. I find on days like today, so for me, I don't know if you guys have days like this, but some days I do not actually feel like working out. Even though this is my job, it just, some days I'm tired. For instance, I didn't sleep well last night because I had jaw pain from dentistry and just woke up not feeling very good. But I find getting myself to warm up helps me get over that, just committing to the warm up. And also, this is the last day in my schedule before I take a week of rest time. I know for me, I'd take about 5 to 6 weeks of pushing really hard and then a week off, and where I do more stretching and a little bit different type of training. So having that schedule helps me on days like today where I don't really feel that good. Be like, I'm gonna stick with this, just get started, and then because I know that rest period is coming in the future. So now we're gonna do a standing row. I would put your hand against a wall or a post. This is gonna be a supported row. And you're gonna hinge from your hips, pushing your hips to the back so your back stays flat. Letting your arm come all the way down to the ground. So, or just above the ground. So you don't want to have your shoulder up like this. You want to let it drop all the way down and then pull up to your rib cage and then back all the way down to the ground. On this one, that last couple inches down is where it's really important. So some days are just harder than others. And that's where I think having a schedule is really important. What I tend to do, or what I like to do training wise, is have about a month to 2 months where I'm pushing hard, trying to push more and more reps or more and more weight each time by a little bit. And then after about 5 or 6 weeks, take a week off to let my body recover. So right now, I'm a lot more sore just in general So I know my body is hitting its limit on how much I can recover from. And that's something that I really, I was just talking with my buddy about this yesterday. We both trained in martial arts, and we would train really hard, but we wouldn't prioritize recovery. So we dealt with a lot of injuries because of that. Like I have a permanent bone knob in my knee now because of the training I did in martial arts, because I didn't give myself enough rest time. And so recovery is also an incredibly important part of working out, of exercise, of giving yourself time to heal and sleep. So on days like today where I don't have as good, haven't slept as well, I know that it's going to be harder to do the same workout, but I'm still going to try. I'm still going to jump, or I'm still going to go into the workout, seeing how far I can get, but accepting that I might not be able to push as much weight or do as many sets as I normally am expecting to do. And that is okay. Sometimes too, it can mean you need to take a little more time warming up, and that's okay too. Where you might need, instead of 5 minutes of warming up and 50 minutes of working out, might need 10 minutes of warming up and 40 minutes of working out. That's totally fine. Doing what you're able to though in the day is the more important part. It's much more important to do an imperfect workout or a suboptimal workout than no workout at all. And then it's also more important, as part of that workout, the other part of working out is that recovery, that rest after. So it's more important to have that recovery than miss that sleep time, that healing time, that time where you're actually building muscle. So now we're going to go into our first set. So that means we're grabbing the weight that's heavy enough where you can lift it about 10 reps. The number of reps is not as important as the fact that you're challenging the muscle. So you want to have a heavy enough weight where you can get through 5 at least before you start to feel tiredness in that muscle. So you still can control the movement, but you should aim for about 10 reps is a good ballpark, especially if you're just starting out. So I'm going to increase it to 40 pounds. We're going to do a dumbbell bench press. So putting the dumbbells on your knees and then kicking your knees up to the front as you roll back. Now get the dumbbells right over the top of your shoulders. And from here, going down to with the dumbbell on the inside of your chest, tap and then come back up. Don't completely lock out your elbows at the top though. So it's down and up. Now for me, what I do to figure out when I should take the rest week or when I should take some time off to let my body heal is I look at how many sets and reps I'm doing. And if I plateau for about a week, that usually means I've hit a point where my body has built up so much stress from working out, it doesn't have enough time to recover again before the next workout. So if I'm consistent, I can see those plateaus where I know that I'm needing more time to recover. That's something that I've only started doing more in my adult life. I didn't used to do that. I used to get injured a lot more. should feel that burning in your chest. And relax. All right, I'm gonna keep the same weight for this next exercise. And I'm gonna move the bench out of the way. Now, how long do you take before you do that, go into that rest? Really depends on the person. For me, I find usually I need a rest week every month and a half or so. But for everyone's a little different for that. Some people, they need it shorter. I know I have a client who has a really stressful job. Because of that, they need to take that rest week more often because they have so much stress outside of their workout. Their body builds up that stress and it's all cumulative. So he's not recovering. He doesn't recover as fast from the workout because the other parts of his life don't let him. So you have to find what works for you. What I would look for though is, do you hit a plateau where you can't keep pushing up, pushing more reps, pushing more weight? And does that stay around for a week? If it's stayed around for a week, take a week off, let your body recover. Then come back in the next week and then see if you can break through that plateau. So for me, I feel as though I'm plateauing on this. I haven't been able to increase reps and my body is more sore for longer. So I'm going to take a week and just do stretching, let my body recover from weightlifting for next week. This is called a supported row. We're working the muscles in the upper back, back of the shoulder. Careful to not bump your knee as you do this. So the more forward you are, the more you can miss that knee. Two more. And relax and switch sides. So this is a great exercise for your shoulders and your upper back. I find that having the support helps keep my low back from bearing that weight. So especially if you have low back pain, this can be a great variation for doing a row. Two more. And relax, take a second. Does anyone else excuse me, actually. Does anyone else find when they were younger, they push, just keep on going, they keep on doing whatever activity, whatever workout, and then eventually hit a point where they would get injured, they'd twist an ankle, they'd hurt a knee, they'd throw out their back or hurt their shoulder, and then that's when they had to stop? Because I found that was very common for me. I would push too hard, and that's the thing that I really have had to learn, is knowing when to stop, actually. Because it's very easy to keep on pushing. It's like, oh, this is what disciplined people do, this is what I want to be, but not giving myself the recovery, which is just as vital of a part of working out, that getting enough sleep, getting enough nutrition and protein. And that is a big part of being able to do an effective workout. I know sleep for me, biggest one that throws me off. Something goes wrong, like yesterday I had some dental work, So it's hard to sleep. So this workout is going to be harder because of it. So, and the recovery from this workout is also going to be harder. Sometimes people think, oh, I'm just weak today, I don't know why. I would encourage you, look at your sleep schedule. Did you sleep well? Did you eat calories today? Sometimes people are just hungry and they feel like, oh, I'm really just have no energy. It's because they haven't eaten enough that day. But I find sleep is the big one for me. All right. Going into set 2 of the bench press. So kicking up and pinching your shoulder blades together, pushing your chest out. And you're going to bring the dumbbells to the inside of your chest. So tap and then up. So I think having a schedule really helps, because it helps your body get into a rhythm where if you're consistent with what time you go to bed, what time you wake up, when you work out, that consistency helps you figure out, or it helps me figure out what days, what's going on days where I feel tired. What happened? Where was the difference? And because if nothing's the same, because it's always different when you work out, when you schedule, it's very hard to tell what's going on with your muscle, what's going on with your workout. And going for a row, starting with your hand slightly angled so it doesn't go pointed straight forward. It's not pointed straight inwards, it's sort of at a diagonal, because that way when you're pulling, you're using some of your shoulder, some of your lat, some of your bicep. Going here, pulling up to your rib cage, and then back out just straight. Letting my arm come all the way down. I should feel that between my shoulder blades. Trying to keep consistent on those reps, each side. So count the reps. So you're doing the same number on each side. That was 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'm going to do the same thing on my dominant arm. So I like to start on my non-dominant side. Now this is a great compound movement, which means we're doing multiple muscles at the same time. 4. So we're working the back, the arm. 5, the shoulders. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and last one, 12. And relax. All right, so that was set number 2 of upper body. Got one more set to do at least, and then we'll shift to lower body. So today, I'm thinking I'm only gonna get to 3 sets, or I'm gonna get to 3 sets. Can tell the fatigue is higher, didn't sleep well, And when that happens, it's harder to push up to that fourth set. And honestly, I woke up a little bit with my arms already feeling sore, still from Wednesday's workout. So I don't want to push this so far that I risk something getting injured. So that's going to put me further behind. For me, I know the more consistent I am, the more I can tell the difference between soreness and fatigue, and potentially something could get injured. So I don't want to push myself so hard that I push into that injured territory. So, excuse me a moment. Now, if you're just starting out and 2 sets is completely exhausting for you, that is okay. 2 sets is totally fine. Or 1 set is totally fine if you're just starting out even. Do as many sets as you can recover from. So if you're just starting out, try with 1 set of these exercises and then see how you feel the next day. Are you very sore? Does it take a long time for you to recover from it? If it does, you know that was the ceiling of how many sets you should do. So you shouldn't do any more than that until you can recover from that level. So train with that number of sets. See if you can get it in 2 workouts a week with that, and then you can go from there. Like I said, so I can push myself to do a 4th set if I wanted to, but the risk of injury goes up and the ability to recover from it goes down. So I'm trying to prioritize a little bit more recovery so that it's not going to affect my next workout. So I can still keep on going, because it's much more about what you do overall rather than on one day, rather than on one day of working out, I'm more worried about how am I going to do for the next month of workouts. Because it's no good if I do 1 workout and then miss a month of them just because the one caused an injury. And one more. 11. And that's my limit for today on that exercise. And that's something else with the warm-up I find really important, is if during the warm-up I have a sore muscle and I do the warm-up and I feel like, man, that warm-up even is hard, I know that muscle hasn't recovered yet. So that's when I might need to switch my program a little bit, try something different, try a different exercise for that day, see how that feels. Because if it hasn't recovered yet, I might need to adjust my program just a little bit to give more recovery time. Give maybe more sleep, a little more food, or maybe an extra day between training. Maybe I was training Monday and Wednesday. Maybe I tried training Monday and Thursday to give that extra recovery time for that muscle. And so now we're going to do a supported row. So you're going to bend at your waist, pushing your hips to the back, so my back stays flat. Grabbing onto the dumbbell, using the other hand to support. You can put your hand against a wall or a post just anything that's solid will work. Reaching down, holding just above the ground, pulling up to your rib cage, and then back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm trying to do the same number of reps on each side. 10, 11, and 12. And the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And relax. Excuse me. So that was our upper body exercises. Now we're going to do some lower body exercises for the quads, those muscles in the front of the thigh, the glutes back here, and the hamstrings. So just going to take a moment because those are very cardio demanding muscles. So I need actually a little bit of time between doing upper body and lower body before my heart rate comes back down. Because right now, if I tried to do it, my heart would be my limiting factor. Whew. So if you're just joining us, we just finished doing upper body exercises with the dumbbells. Now I'm going to show some lower body exercise for the dumbbells. And if you have any questions, let me know in the chat. So, it's going to be a follow along workout. So I'd encourage you guys to do these with me. If you're just starting out, or if you've been working out for a while, these are exercises that are applicable to all fitness levels. So they are fundamental movements that I find really help target a lot of the key muscles in the body. And I find that they're pretty easy to do too, because they don't require a lot of special equipment. So for this one, I'm gonna drop the weight down just a little bit per side. We're gonna do a squat with dumbbells. So we're gonna start by warming up without dumbbells, and then we'll switch to the dumbbells. So your feet are about shoulder width apart or a little wider, whatever's comfortable. And your toes are angled ever so slightly outwards. Now the goal with that is to have your toes pointed in the same direction as your knees bend. So just try bending your knees and see, do they line up with your toes? If they do, you're perfect. Or if you need to, go ahead and adjust your feet. If you need to, see, for instance, if my knees are bending out, my toes are pointed in, my knees are going out, I would need to adjust my feet out so they bend in the same direction. So from here, I'd have your hands up by your ears. So that's the position we're going to be in with the dumbbells. And bending your knees down and come back up. Doing about 10 of these. It should feel comfortable on your knees and hips. Trying to keep that back straight. So I'm going down as one unit. You can bend forward a little bit, but bend from your hips. Just like that. And that's going to protect your low back and keep everything stabilized. Okay. Now I'm going to grab some dumbbells. What I like to do with these is rest them right on my shoulders. Wow. lifting that up, I could feel that in my bicep. If it's hard to get into this position, what you can do is let the dumbbells hang at your sides. Now, careful so that they don't bump into your knees. That's why I don't like this. I don't like doing it this way as much, because I find that it sort of hits into my thigh. If that's the case, sometimes it can help to have them in the front like this and a little bit wider of a stance. That is okay too. So whatever's comfortable for you. I like to rest them here on the top of my shoulders. So I'm sort of tapping that top of the dumbbell on the top of my shoulder. From here, bending your knees, going down to a seated position and then standing back up. 1. Keeping that back straight, pushing through your heels and toes so your foot stays entirely on the ground. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And now we're gonna do a stiff-legged deadlift. I'm gonna set the weight down for just a quick second. So to do this, what I like to do is stand right in front of a wall. You're going to be able to tap your wall with your fingertips. It's usually about a good distance. If you can't reach the wall, step a little closer so you can tap it right behind you. From here, you're gonna push your hips out to the back, tap the wall, and then come back up, keeping your back straight. Really push your hips back and then up. You should feel that all along the back of your thigh and hip. So we're working the glutes some and a lot of that hamstring in the back. So in this one, pushing back with both sides. There's no twisting as you do this. Just try and tap with both sides of your hip. Do 10 times without weight, just to get the movement down. You should feel both sides of your hips hitting that wall. It feels like it's only one side. You know you're twisting a little bit. See how I'm twisting just slightly? Try and get it so it's even on both sides. Do that without weight first, and then we'll add weight. My knees can bend slightly. That's okay. But I want my legs locked, but I don't want them to really bend like a squat. Mostly from the hips. I'm hinging at those hips. Hang on just a moment. It is warm today. All right. So grab your dumbbells, and what we're gonna do is let the arms hang in front of the thigh. So this just sort of glides along the front of your leg. From here, push your hips out to the back, and then back out up straight. Feel this in the back of your thigh and hips. Pushing down, and then back. Doing as many as you can until you feel that fatigue in the back of your thigh. I like to aim for about 10. Breathing in as you go down and out as you come up. 8, 2 more, 9, and 10. And that was set number 1. Take a minute, catch your breath. I find that's a great exercise for my hamstrings. I actually get my hamstrings to lengthen more doing that exercise. So I'm improving my hamstring flexibility well, I'm also strengthening them. And since I started doing that one, I actually feel more glute growth than I have doing other exercises. That's always been a hard muscle for me to engage. I find my thigh muscles, my quads and hamstrings, grow more than my glutes do. So proportionally, it makes my glutes look smaller. So I'm thinking about adding a glute specific exercise into my program, and I'll be showing that as part of these live streams. Let me know in the chat or the comments if that's something that's interesting to you. You would also want a glute specific muscle group in your exercise routine. All right, so we're in the middle of doing leg exercises using dumbbells. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat. Got 2 more sets to go. We're trying for 3 sets of these of each exercise. Now, if you can't do 3, that is okay. Do what you're able to. So we're gonna start with a squat. So resting the dumbbells on the top of your shoulders. If it's comfortable, that's not comfortable, you can let them hang down between your legs and take a little bit wider of a stance. I like putting them up on the top of my shoulders, feet about shoulder width apart, bending your knees and squatting down towards a seated position. Imagine like you're sitting down on a chair, but don't completely sit down. You're gonna come right back up. So just imagine you're sitting down on a chair, tapping and then coming back up. 1, 2, 3. Keep your toes and heels on the ground. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You should feel that burning in your quads in the front of your thigh. 9, and last one, 10. And letting the weights hang down to your thigh. We're gonna go into a stiff-legged deadlift now. Standing just about a foot away from a wall. Let the dumbbells hang down in front of your legs. Pushing your hips out to the back. Keeping your back straight. Pushing back, feeling that in your hamstrings in the back of your thigh. 2, 3. Hinging at those hips. 4. So I'm pushing out to the back with my hips. 5, 6, 7. Trying to keep my back straight. 8, 9, and last one, 10. And relax. Whew. So all the exercises we're doing today are compound exercises, which means they work multiple muscles at the same time. Excuse me a moment. One moment. All right. So we are on our last set, doing squats and deadlifts for the lower body. If you have questions, let me know in the chat. Almost done. Now, as you work out, it's normal to feel more tired in the later sets and need a little longer recovery between. That is normal. So I would take the things that you care about most. I like to put them at the beginning of the workout because that's when I'm most fresh, when I'm able to really focus in and get the most out of that movement. I do care about legs and developing my legs, but I find it's easier to do those later in the set for me. or later in the workout, and then end with that. All right, and we do one more set of squats. So resting the dumbbells around the top of your shoulders, feet about shoulder width apart, and bending your knees like you're sitting down on a chair. And then you could even do this in front of a chair, tap the chair with your hips and then come back up. So going for 10 of these. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And relax. All right, now we're doing a stiff-legged deadlift. So feet about shoulder width apart, standing about a foot away from a wall, letting your arms hang down in front of your thighs. Pushing your hips back to the wall, keeping your back straight. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Feel that stretch in your hamstrings. 5, 6, 7. Go as low as you can, keeping your back flat. 8, 9, and 10. And relax. All right, so this week is the end of our pushing as hard as we can up to that. Next week, it's gonna be a deload week, so it's gonna be a rest week where we're gonna meet and do some stretching. Gonna work on flexibility, especially in the legs, maybe some in the arms and neck too. If you have a specific area that's tight for you, let me know in the chat or the comments and I'll see if I can include that. So I host these live streams Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So next week we'll be doing stretching. Hope to see you guys there.